Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Avatar Rewatch. This week we are really chasing things down because we're covering The Chase, a very I'd say a pretty important episode in the development of many characters. It's kind of really where a lot of things kind of come together. Jared,
I love it when a plan comes together.
So, Jared, what were your initial thoughts on this episode?
Now I get why people like Toph. It took me a second because remember I said I needed like a couple episodes to get it. Now I got it. So there's that.
And in your own words, why do you think people love Toph?
Well, she's spunky, she's tough, and
Toph is tough.
It's just Toph. You just have to understand that. Yeah, it's just that's the way it works. And I enjoyed the whole idea of the chase. Like they can't get sleep because the other team won't let them get sleep.
What do you think of Mei and Ty Lee? Now you're spending a little more time with them.
Oh yeah, I really dig these characters because see, here's what this kind of is like. I like when TV shows about superpowered beings have and the antagonists are other superpowered beings. In other words, they're kind of being hunted by the mirror of Team Avatar, if that makes sense.
And are you starting to realize why people love Azula?
Oh yeah, I love where she calls Zuko Zuzu, and even Aang is like Zuzu. I love that.
So yeah, so basically the thing is, they're like basically like the kind of the crux of this episode is basically Toph getting fully integrated into the gang.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're at a camp. There's some conflict between Katara and Toph. You know, like, and honestly, what I love about this conflict is you can really see both sides. Like, this is kind of a situation where I feel like both Katara and Toph were wrong in this situation.
Yeah, they both are.
Like, I can totally see like Toph's perspective on this. Like I'm not saying she's justified, but like her perspective is totally understandable. Especially like given where she's come from and whatnot, you know. Like you gotta realize this is the first time she has been like out of her parents' supervision ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's really cool, and I dig that. Yeah, I like the whole tension between the two. And I also thought it was kind of funny when she goes, you expect me to untangle, to like carry out Sokka's smelling sleeping bag. And then when Sokka smells his own bag, he's like, oh.
He's like, I don't blame you. Yeah.
Sokka was in rare form this episode. And by that, I mean, he was really funny when he's fighting, I keep forgetting him, but when she does all those little moves and like it takes out his limbs and he's
T-blocking. He's trying to T-block him.
It gets to the point where he's hopping on one leg because she's taken out all of his other limbs. that was really funny. I really dug that. And I like when Azula bends fire, it's blue fire.
Oh yeah. And did you like kind of the extra special touch where like when she initially bent it, it was blue, but once it like left her thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that because for a second there I was like, okay, well that's weird. And then I was like, okay, I see what they're doing there.
Yeah. And then so Toph, so basically you know, Azula's let's just call them Ozai's angels is just the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Ozai's angels, they're chasing her, they're chasing the gang, they can't really get any sleep. What did you think of like the little setup where they said, "Oh, Appa's shedding," and then later in the episode's like, "They're tracking because Appa's shedding."
Yeah, I love that. I also love where the Toph part of that joke where she goes, "Oh, I love this area. It's so soft. Look at this grass. That's not grass. Op is shedding."
My favorite joke was like, "Oh, it's so nice to have another girl in the group," and she's like, "Oh, look, I got armpits," and even like you even saw Katara like laugh at that joke a little bit, like
Yeah. Because that's the only thing I like about Toph. She seems like she's one of the guys.
it's definitely a tomboy. Like he's very much like a tomboy. Whereas Katara is like basically the group mom, you know.
Yeah, which that's another reason why I like her so much.
Mm-hmm. She I guess you could say she's a mom bender.
By the way, so speaking of Ozai's Angels, what I wanted to say is that the other group that they remind me of are the female Furies from DC.
Everything reminds you of female Furies, brother.
For those of you that don't know what that is, so in DC, there's a supervillain named Darkseid. He lives outside of reality. But what he does is he kidnaps females from all over the multiverse and trains them to be his elite guard. They're the female Furies.
Every time I hear that, I hear you say that, my mind has to do like a subtle like, okay, he's not saying female furries, he's saying female Furies.
No, not saying that. Stop it.
By the way, that's an art commission away.
Please don't
imagine
encourage Nick. Do not encourage the internet.
Well, you can always pay an artist to do a rendition of the female furries, where it's like Big Barda has like a rabbit. Oh! We broke him. So
you suck.
I really do, especially at boss battles. But that's beside the point.
Oh yeah, trust me, as someone that has first-hand experience of that, yeah.
All right, so for those who don't know, we're recording this on a Saturday, and we just did the last episode of Resident Evil, and it took me like 3 tries to beat the boss.
3 tries, but in your defense, Resident Evil games are difficult, so there you go.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, kind of getting back to the episode. So kind of Toph goes on her own, and who does she run into but Iroh?
I noticed that. I was like, oh, okay, the old man. And then we have some good character developments for Zuko too.
Mm-hmm. And then like Toph and Iroh have like a really nice chat, and then we kind of get to like the standoff at the OK Corral moment.
Yes, I was about to say, I'm looking at the trivia thing and it says that that's 100% inspired by the Mexican standoff.
Yeah, and so like basically this is like the first time where all the principal players kind of gather in one area. And it's like they're going against Azula, and like this is the first time like Zuko is actually teaming up with the gang. Like this is what I love about Avatar. A former villain is like you're starting to get like he's teaming up with them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I love kind of like that little double take where like at the end you can kind of see like Toph do a double take when she realizes it's Iroh, and they're talking about Zuko when she realizes, oh, that's who Iroh is talking about. Like
again, I also love when Azula says Zuzu, and even Aang starts laughing.
Jared, remember when you told me to like remember like foreshadowing?
Mm-hmm.
Keep that moment in your head for season 3.
Okay, yeah, I will.
You know, yeah. So, and I just kind of love it. Like one of my favorite moments. Like obviously, you know, like you had the 4 elements working together and whatnot, and then you had like at the end, like Iroh was injured, and they're like, "Hey, we can help you." It's like, "No, go away."
He's
also,
injured. He's not dead. He's injured, right?
He's injured.
Okay, good, because it looked like he was dead.
Also, you notice how like Zuko was clearly aiming the fire over their heads. Like you notice how like they looked up, and it's like he wasn't trying to attack them. That was more just like a getaway kind of thing. And I think they realized that, you know, like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just love the whole Zuko Aang like kind of dual protagonist dynamic. It's really great. And
I like that.
I gotta say, I actually think Azula is kind of an upgrade as an antagonist over Zuko.
Yeah, she is.
Because like even when she's defeated, she's still more of a credible threat. Like it's like comical when they defeated Zuko, but with Azula, She's just more doing tactical retreats rather than getting outright defeated.
Well, yeah, because she's Catwoman, and that's what Catwoman does.
Oh, I want to chastise you, but you're not wrong. Also,
Yeah.
Also, when we play Vampire the Masquerade, you will hear that voice again.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's gonna be awkward. Let's just say Catwoman voiced the inspiration for Arkham Harley Quinn.
Ooh, really? I can't wait for that one.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about like the Vampire the Masquerade Let's Play we're gonna do in October.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, once we play that game, you're like, okay, yep.
By the way, I decided real quick that October is when I'm going to do Arkham Knight. Obviously, I'll do it on a different day than yours, so it doesn't conflict. What I mean is because the theme of that game is fear.
Don't you want to start with the first game?
No, I'm going to start with the first game. I'm just, depending on the time. Actually, yeah. Can I do that? Actually, no. You know what? Any of those games is good for Halloween. So there you go.
Do Arkham Asylum.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. But anyway, so overall, I would rate this episode 9 out of 10. I loved every minute of it. It made me actually, you know what? For solidifying to me why I love Toph so much now, 10 out of 10.
This is a 9.5, just because I want to give this a 10 out of 10, but like I don't like handing them out like water. So this is a 9.5.
Okay, fair enough. That works.
So yeah, any closing thoughts? Anything like you're really excited about?
I'm excited for more Zuzu.
Oh dear God. All right, so next up we have Bitter Work. Oh, and then after that is the library. Oh yeah, so we got some like the library that's 2 episodes away. That's a really good one. But yeah, things are getting good, and yeah, and so let's kind of like wrap this one up. I love how it's like the better the episode is, like the less we seem to have to talk about it.
Well, because here's the thing: a lot of these episodes aren't that complicated.
They're just good.
They're just good. They're just fun action episodes.
So this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press, and remember, Wonder Bad is canon. Bye, everyone.
Okay. So on that note, let's transition over to my thing.